Well, hello there and welcome to the channel, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about how to overwinter your Musella lasiocarpa, the Golden Lotus Banana or Chinese banana. It's got a number of common names, so we just stick to Musella lasiocarpa, then we all know we're talking about the same thing. Anyway, it is an absolutely fantastic plant and not seen very often. I don't think I've ever seen it for sale in the garden centre, though I do see it in some plant collections. It really is a fantastic thing. It's not very big, but it's about 5 feet tall, so not too big. But the start of the show is its flower. Absolutely gorgeous. I'll throw up a little picture for you so you can see it is very, very impressive. Although just be aware that that isn't going to flower until it's properly mature. So you're looking at growing it from a small plant for 4 or 5 years before you're going to get those wonderful, wonderful displays. Anyway, let's sort out how to overwinter Musella lasiocarpa. Now, depending on who you talk to and what you read, you can get a certain amount of confusion with regards to just how hardy the Musella lasiocarpa is. Now, a lot of reports will say it is the most hardy banana-ish kind of plant that you can grow here in the UK, but then there's others that say, oh, it's a little bit tender, you need to put down some frost protection. Now, all I can tell you is what I've learned from my experience, and that is we planted one last year, so it's been in the ground for almost 2 years now, and it went through that winter where we had the very cold temperatures down to about -7, -8 degrees centigrade. Now, I admit it was a very small plant. We only bought it as a 9-centimetre pot, but the problem is in those temperatures, and we did give it protection, the main stem completely died back, and then come the spring you could tell that a lot of the root had also been seriously damaged because we had a very, very weak bit of growth coming up once the weather warmed up. So I would not say it is the hardest banana. It certainly isn't anywhere near as hardy as Musa. That is a far stronger plant, but anecdotally just isn't a lot of information around, so all I can tell you is what I've learned from my experience. I wouldn't say it's fully hardy. I'd say it is a bit on the tender side, but maybe it becomes more hardy as it establishes and becomes more mature. But I think what I always say is when you're planting it, plant them early in the spring, so they've got the whole year to establish and get as big as they can, and make sure that when you do plant it in a nice sheltered site, something that gets plenty of sun, plenty of warmth, preferably against the protection of a south facing wall, and obviously out of strong winds. Okay, I accept that ours is a little bit sad looking, but the reason for that is because it's been hit by a couple of nights of frost. But the thing is, it's a good thing this has happened, because what it does is it helps to bring the plant into dormancy. So what we're going to do, we're going to remove all these leaves back to the stalk, which is the other thing you want to do, because as these dead leaves start to die off and rot and just turn to mush, there's risk of fungal infections coming onto the leaf and getting into the main pseudostem, so we don't want that. So first thing we're going to do, cut all the leaves off, then we're going to wrap it in a few laces of horticultural fleece, and also we're going to give a good mulch, a dry mulch. In this case we're going to use bark chips. You can use gravel, you can use sand, but I prefer to use bark chips simply because over time they will rot down and provide nutrition back into the soil. So we're going to have a quick tidy of this bed, prepare this, wrap it up, put down some bark chips, and then we're going to put or at least prepare to put on a sort of like a cold protective layer like we got on these other plants in the garden. Right, now I'm going to put down a dry mulch. The point behind the dry mulch is that it has plenty of air inside it. That acts as insulation, and if you put a few inches of dry mulch around the top of where the roots are, it gives us that protection against ground frost. So that's the next step. And now for the horticultural fleece. Like I say, a good few wraps of that. Now you can tie it off with some string, but in this case I've just used some cable ties because I had those handy and I ran out of string. Why not? Now if overnight temperatures look set to get a lot colder, or if you're just having a general cold spell where freezing temperatures are going to be dropping much below 2 degrees or so, then what you can do is you can add some additional cold protection, such as like a little rain and cold canopy there. But obviously because our Musella lasiocarpa is a lot smaller, I'm going to get a smaller bag. I'm going to show you exactly how I'm going to put a bag over one of those, because it's worth knowing how to do it. It's worth having those items in stock in your garden or garage, just to make sure that if you are going to be surprised by a particularly cold spell, that you've got the equipment there just to quickly pop out, put it in place, and protect and save your precious plants. So to make a canopy, you just need 4 things. You need some tent pegs, you need some cable ties, you need some canes. These are, because it's only a small plant, I only need to make a small canopy, so these are just like a metre tall, but you need 5, and you need a bag, suitable bag like that. Anyway, and the reason why you need 5, I know you've got 4 corners in the bag, but you need 1 in the middle to stop the roof from dipping if it rains and sort of stays there. So put in 1 in the middle, sort of prevents that from happening. And that 1 in the middle, you don't put that straight in the ground like that, because you can damage the roots of the plant you're trying to protect. You put it in at an angle like that. Right, let me show you how to do it. So there you have it. You got your Musella lasiocarpa under here. You've got it protected by a few wraps of horticultural fleece. You've got a dry mulch of bark chips. Then you've got a little more winter protection there by having a bag here. And if you wanted to, you could lower those canes and then lower the whole bag so it's right down to the bottom. Just all depends on how cold it is likely to get. So thank you for watching how I overwinter my Musella lasiocarpa. And if you've got anything that you'd like to add, or any great tips that you want to put on the comments, then do so. We would love to hear from you. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.